Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
Hey guys, it's me, Lawrence Presman. Monday, May 24th, and a happy Queen Victoria's Day to anybody who celebrates that. It is a holiday in Canada. Teddy covers, me, the Prez. We got a big show, Teddy. Marco joining us right off the top. He's going to talk 2 baseball games and the Minnesota Wild Vegas Knights game. Bryan Leonard, he's going to look at the Blue Jays game, the Miami Marlins game, and Baltimore versus Minnesota. You, my friend, have a big game breakdown coming up. Me, a penalty box segment. And, well, how was your weekend, Teddy Covers?
Pretty good. I can't complain. The clients are happy. I'm happy. We won this weekend. The MLB is really hot right now, which is nice to see. 7-0 the last 7. So I got no complaints for a Monday morning, Prez. How about yourself?
Dude, birthday Saturday, had a blast. Went 4-0, which really made my day so great. And then yesterday, slapped upside the head, 0-4. Teddy, I know you're doing the big bad bet beat segment. It's coming up in 2 seconds. But, man, I'd like to know if the Edmonton Oilers made your list. Teddy?
So they didn't make my list because I didn't do hockey on this. I figured I would leave that for you at the end because I know Edmonton backers not thrilled with how things went down over the weekend. But let's talk about it. Bad beats, bad bets, and a bad for the books. A little recap of what happened over the weekend from a betting perspective. We had a couple in the Jazz-Grizzlies game yesterday. Jazz first half, -4.5. They're up 36-22, 6 minutes left. Should have been a blowout already. Jack said it at halftime. You know, the Grizz had 22 points, 18 minutes into the game. And then all of a sudden, Dylan Brooks starts raining threes. Kyle Anderson starts raining threes. The Jazz come unglued. Techs, flagrant fouls. A 17-2 Grizzlies run, and the Grizz end up catching the money line for the first half instead of the Jazz minus the points. And then, of course, the total in that game. The full game total, 216.5. It's 49-43, 92 at halftime. Second half total's $110. So you've got, 25 points to play with, essentially. And 6 minutes left is 97-87. The under's still good. And then the late flurry. Utah rallies to make things interesting. 112-109 final game. Sneaks over the total. Tough beat for underbettors in that one. What about the 76ers yesterday versus the Wizards? -7, but up to -8. -8.5, and back down to 8, 7.5. Bounced around all for a couple of days, right in that same range. 7.5, 8, 8.5. Well, Philly's up 9, and Embiid's heating up, but then Bertans hits the 3, and Hachimura hits the 3. They're still down 7. The cover's in jeopardy, but that all-important possession with 10 seconds left, did they jack up a bad 3 and foul? No. Beal goes for the layup. He didn't jack up the bad 3. Then they fouled again. End up losing by 7. Tough beat if you had the Sixers minus the points. Pirates Braves total yesterday, sitting at 8. It's 3-1 in the first. It's 5-1 in the third, and then crickets. Lucky to end up with a push on 8, 2-run dinger, and that was it. Tough push if you had the over in that one. And, of course, if you had Toronto yesterday, well, the Rays opened +165, and they were on a 9-game winning streak. They closed +150, and they scored 4 in the ninth. 5 walks against the Blue Jays to win that one. Tough beat if you had Toronto minus the price. Bad bets. I mean, the Clips got bet up. I had Clips money over the weekend. I was one of the losers. -5, bet up as high as -6.5. They lost wire to wire versus the Mavs in game 1. That game felt over in the first quarter from a point spread perspective. Nets Celtics total, 226.5, bet up to 232.5. 104-93 final. They never sniffed an over in that one. That was a bad bet. Nothing but Lakers money yesterday, +3 down to +2. They lost by 9. How about the WNBA? Prez, I went to WNBA before I went to NHL. Usually you follow the sharp money in WNBA, not yesterday. The Aces -4.5 to 6 against the Connecticut Sun. They lost outright at home. The Washington Mystics Indiana Fever total got bet down 162.5 to 160. Lands 167. Bad bets in the WNBA. Bad for the books. The Heat Bucks under on Saturday. That was under 229 down to under 226. It went to overtime and still only finished 216. The under, a clear right side there. Books did not enjoy that one. How about this for the Yankees yesterday? Chapman blows the save for the Yanks, and the books still got screwed because Aaron Judge get the walk-off walk in the bottom of the ninth. Yankees -120 up to -150 against the slumping Chicago White Sox. Big money on the Padres yesterday. They opened -220, closed -$3, 192 versus Seattle. Big money on the Braves yesterday, -180, closed -210. They won 7-1 versus the Pirates. And last but not least, Prez, nobody bet the Blues yesterday. The Colorado Avalanche, -$2 to -250. They won the game. They won the game. Yeah, hockey game. 5-2. That, not a great result for the books. And why don't you tell me about how brutal it was for Edmonton backers yesterday? You can provide the nuance for that bad beat that I just can't provide. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Well, Teddy, good stuff. I was one of those Edmonton backers yesterday, and I lost. And, listen, dude, they're up 4-1 with 9 minutes to go in the game. I think that's happened twice in the history of the NHL, that a team down by 3 with less than 10 to go has won. Both times broke my heart. The first was the Toronto Maple Leafs against Boston about 4 years ago. And then last night, down. And in a must-win game, Teddy, Winnipeg is up 2-0 in the series. That swing was 2-1 to 3-0. Just a total fall apart by Edmonton. But I had a rough one all around, dude. I had Carolina yesterday as well. They lost in overtime. Edmonton lost in overtime. And I had the Knicks on the money line. And, that was a sudden death overtime as well, even though it wasn't. It was, last shot wins.
Sure, and I intentionally didn't put the Knicks in there. The Knicks, I didn't. That was a coin flip game. Trae Young hit the shot. Yeah,
it wasn't it wasn't a bad beat. It was just like I could have won 3 and I lost all of them. But yeah, listen,
that makes for a lousy day.
You go 4-0 Saturday, you go 0-4 Sunday, you kiss your sister, you move on. And if I had a sister, she'd be hot, Teddy. I have no doubt about it. She would just be smoking. Anyway.
I'll take the under.
Yeah. I'm talking Natalie Portman hot. Anyway, dude, $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com. I have a 5% play up. And you guys have been following my 5% plays. You bugger off, Marco. I can see you in the bottom corner of the screen. You want to start with me? You do it when you come on. I got a 5% play up in hockey tonight. I am on a 16-5 run in these 5% plays. Won my last 2, and I'm super stoked about tonight. I love the hockey card. Speaking of hockey, let's bring Marco D'Angelo in. 26-15 hockey run, wearing the Sidney Crosby jersey. Going to the game tonight. More importantly, Marco, welcome to the show.
Hey, Prez. Yeah, be my first live game this year for the Vegas Golden Knights, and hopefully get to see them clinch their first round playoff matchup. And we're actually going to talk about that game as one of them. I'll save that one for last, but I have to chime in on the Edmonton Oilers also. They got me not once, but twice this weekend. And that was the difference of the last 6 days for me, of 13-7 for my clients instead of possibly 15-5, because both of those Edmonton games were winnable. the Friday night game with the overtime, the 1-0 game. That's just brutal, especially since it was a 5% for me. So could have been a really big weekend, but we'll move on and start a new week.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you as well. I had Edmonton in all 3 games, so they have been really bad to me as well. I did not bet tonight yet, but I like Edmonton again. Oh. Let's get into it, dude. Baltimore, Minnesota. Both teams with the exact same record, Marco, but one team is just in a free fall. This Baltimore Orioles team lost 6 in a row. Some of these games weren't even close, a 13-6, a 10-1, a 12-9. And Minnesota not faring much better on the year, but at least they've won 3 of their last 4 and are trending in the right direction. Also, they really are a better team all around. It's close to a pick'em game. Where are you going here?
Yeah, this is a spot with Minnesota that I'm going to look to fade them, even though Baltimore is in free fall. There's no question about that. But let's not forget, Minnesota's won 3 of their last 4. But right before that mini winning streak, they had lost 10 out of 12. So it's not like they're world beaters. And I'm looking at the pitching matchup, and John Means for Baltimore, you really can't fault anything this guy has done. He is pitching very well, especially on the road. His stats on the road, he's got 6 road starts this season. He's got an ERA of 0.66. That's insane. Even more insane is his whip, which is 0.61. This guy is dealing it. I'm going to go ahead and go with Baltimore. The other reason why, Minnesota's returning home from a road trip. You know I don't like teams that first game back home from the road trip, but this was a really weird road trip for the Minnesota Twins. They went to the West Coast to play the Angels for the first 2 games of this road trip. It was a doubleheader. They had to go out, play 1 day, 2 games, turn around, fly back after playing a doubleheader to go to Cleveland to start a big series against a division rival. So they've played 5 games in 4 days, and now they'll be in their 3rd city. That's just a lot of traveling for Minnesota. I'm going to go ahead, take Baltimore with the hot pitcher, and take them to get the job done here in this first one. And here's a little interesting note on Minnesota with their record. A lot of times you look and say, okay, well, they're losing again. The games they're losing against good teams and so forth. No, this is a stat that scares me on the Twins. They're just 4-10 this season playing teams with a losing record. I'm going to go ahead and take Baltimore here.
So I want to ask you about Means in particular, because he's coming off his worst start of the season. The first start all year where he's gotten roughed up. He had that one start against Seattle prior to the no-hitter against the Seahawks, or the Mariners, I should say. But he is coming off his rough start. And the other thing that really stands out, when you look at Means' advanced metric stats, he's not getting any ground ball outs right now. It's all fly balls. And to me, that's one of those red flags when you start talking the weather warming up in May and a guy's not getting ground ball outs. Do you see anything from Means that concerns you moving forward? And with this game in particular, starter versus starter, it's clear the Orioles have the edge. Would you look first 5 for this one as opposed to full game, because Baltimore's bullpen not exactly trustworthy of late?
Yeah, that's a good point as far as the first 5 innings, Teddy. Maybe you want to split your wager on this one, go half a unit on first 5 and half a unit on full game. But Minnesota, I'm just not sold on them full game situation because of the travel that I talked about. But go back to Means, and you say he's coming off a rough outing. Man, it's refreshing to hear somebody having a rough outing where they went into the 7th inning and allowed 4 runs. That's a little bit refreshing if that's your rough outing for Means. In that outing that was rough, let's not forget that came on the heels of 2 starts before that. He pitched a no-no and then come back the next game where most people expect the regression game after the no-hitter. He come back and threw 6 shutout innings. I think the guy was living on borrowed time for a so-called bad start. 4 runs into the 7th inning. He went 6 1/3. So I'm going to forgive him for that start. And it's, again, like you said, look at Shoemaker. Shoemaker would love to have a bad outing of going into the 7th inning and giving up 4 runs. So I don't feel bad about Means. But I know when we get to this next game, when you saw who I picked, you were salivating on your cross-examination for that one. So let's go to it.
Well, I'll set it up. The White Sox playing St. Louis and Chicago off of 3 losses in a row, all against the Yankees. Now they find themselves minus 175. These two teams basically the same record. Marco, dog or favorite?
I'm going with the St. Louis Cardinals here, and they are a huge dog. And what I was alluding to that Teddy's going to be salivating for the cross-examination is, yes, I know I'm going against the left-hander starting against the Chicago White Sox. I know that over the last 2 years, the Chicago White Sox are 24-3 against lefties. So let's just get that out there on the table. So why do I want to step in front of a freight train like that? Well, one, the White Sox are returning home from a road trip. You know how I feel about that. Also, everybody and their brother knows about the left-handed stat against the White Sox. It is built into the line and then some. How can the Chicago White Sox be this big of a favorite against the St. Louis Cardinals, who are throwing a starting pitcher that has been tremendous over the last 2 years? They are 11-3 in his 14 starts. Yes, he's a left-hander, but he's a left-hander the White Sox have never seen. We talk about that over and over again. Pitcher has the advantage over the hitter first time through the league. He's allowed 1 run or less this year in in his career in 11 of his 14 starts. Think about that. 1 run or less. And you're going to give me this price on St. Louis simply because of that dominating stat. This is plus EV play that I will play 100 times. And if I just win 50% of them, you're making money long-term because you're taking a big dog in a great situation. That's where I'm at. And here's a little final stat for you before you tear me apart, Teddy. St. Louis, after scoring 1 run or less the last 2 seasons, how about 17-5 in their next game? Go ahead, cross-exam.
I'm not going to tear you apart in this one at all. You know what? When you look at a public trend like White Sox against lefties that everybody knows, and now, oh, by the way, it's not winning at the same rate this year that it was winning last year, and they lost the last time out. You know, I'm not looking to ride at last year's trend and the year before's trend this year. Not at all. And you look at the White Sox offensively right now, coming off that bad series against the Yanks, they've been held to 4 or less 9 times their last 10 games. They're not hitting right now at all. So it's not a situation where I'm going to sit here and say, yeah, for sure. Especially after the 30-cent move toward Chicago this morning. I do want to ask about the situation for the Cardinals because it's very clear the markets hate the situation for St. Louis, which is playing on Sunday night, losing an extra innings on Sunday night, travel, playing again the next day. Do you think that's as big a disadvantage as the markets seem to think it is? Because as you know, I mean, it's been nothing but money for the favorite in this one.
Well, Teddy, probably next to the White Sox stat, the ESPN travel team is probably the second most public one out there. So we're getting a perfect storm as far as price goes, driving this number in the market. But Teddy, if you had to have a road trip after a Saturday or after a Sunday night game, isn't St. Louis to Chicago one of the best road trips that you possibly could have, as far as travel distance? So yes, I was aware of that and factored in. It's not worth what the market is pricing it at, in my opinion, with a good pitcher. And the one thing about, when teams travel like that, the pitcher generally is already in the other city the day before. So he gets the good night rest and everything for that starting pitcher. And so much of this play for me is around the starting pitcher, even though he throws with the left hand. He has been tremendous, and I'm circling the wagons around him. Maybe, like you said in the last game, might want to get a little interested in, first five and full game. But the thing about it is you do have a good pitcher on the mound for the White Sox as well. So that's why I didn't go just first five, because Lance Lynn is generally money on the mound as well.
Marco D'Angelo, everybody. Marco, just an incredible start to 2021 for you. A number one handicapper at WagerTalk in net profit for the entire calendar year so far. And Marco, we're deep into 2021. I mean, January, February, March, April, and almost all of May, 5 months in. Outstanding stuff. I mean, it hasn't been wire to wire, but you've been right there the whole way through, really avoided any major slumps. Your NBA 36-13 run, your NHL 26-15, your baseball 16-7. Awesome stuff. I hope you just keep in that zone, brother. Congratulations to a monster start. It's $9 Mondays. Before we get into your hockey play, what do you got to promote?
Well, I will have a play up within the hour when I get off the show. Didn't have time to post my play yet today, but I'm looking at the two basketball games. I am leaning to one of them. I think it's going to make the card, and we will have a baseball play tonight as well. So head over, check that out, and watch the Knights game tonight. You might see a chubby guy in a Marc-Andre Fleury jersey jumping around at T-Mobile tonight.
Who are you going with?
Taking the missus. She's the whole reason I got season tickets. Actually, Bryan Leonard and I split season tickets, and my wife cares zero about sports. But because she's a Las Vegas native, she is absolutely fallen in love with this Golden Knights team. And the first time I ever took her to a game, she got to see everything, Prez. Talk about your first game. She got overtime, shootout, and a win, all in her first game. And she was hooked and, ended up costing me season tickets.
Well, let's get to this game, Marco. Fleury stands on his head game one, maybe the greatest single game goaltending performance I've ever seen in my life, but they do lose that game. Then they go down 2-0 in game three. This team has fought back and are now 3-1 and can close it out tonight. They are minus 180, a total of 5.5. This Minnesota team, I mean, I don't think anything's going to come easy for Vegas tonight, but they clearly are the favorite. Where are you going in this game?
I'm going to go contrarian in this game, and I'm going to go with the total. And as you talked about, Marc-Andre Fleury has been absolutely sensational for the Golden Knights. You remember a few months ago when they were trying to trade him? Boy, are we glad that didn't happen. But he has been outstanding. He's been the best player on the ice for both teams in this series. But now they're coming home with that commanding 3-1 lead. And I'm going to go to the over. And I'll tell you that the two games in Minnesota, if you have followed the Golden Knights at all, prior to the last regular season game in Minnesota, the Golden Knights had never won a game in Minnesota in franchise history in regulation until that last game. And then now they go the first two games of the playoff and win both of them in Minnesota. So they exercised their demons big time with that jinx. And that jinx wasn't just with Vegas as a team. Marc-Andre Fleury, this is the only team in his, that he has a losing record against for his career going back to Pittsburgh. And he played on some very good Pittsburgh teams to accumulate a losing record against this team. I just don't see the Knights playing with the same intensity defensively tonight with the commanding 3-1 lead. And I'll get to a stat as far as Minnesota regarding the over. But I'm also going to throw something out there. Right now, it's listed as Marc-Andre Fleury as the goalie, and that's what we expect. But I can tell you that in every game, Coach DeBoer for the Knights has never said his goalie until the last minute. If there was ever a game that he was going to start Leonard, this would be the one to give Fleury a night off and the Knights in a no-pressure situation being up 3-1. And I can tell you that if he ends up in net, you've got a big advantage on the over as well, because the Knights just play more aggressive offensively when he's in net because they know they need more goals than when Fleury's there. But even with Fleury in net tonight, I like it over 5.5. Minnesota revenging 2 straight losses where the opponent scored 3 or more goals. How about 10-1 to the over the last 2 seasons? And remember, this is a closeout game. If this score is 3-2 late, you're going to see them pull the goalie earlier than you normally would do. So you'll get an extra minute and a half of, having a shot for an empty netter. That's something else to consider on the end game of a closeout.
Yeah.
I'm going over 5.5.
Awesome, Marco. And I was going to save this for the penalty box segment, but it's a perfect time to speak about it now. And that is Andrew McGinnis has this great bet that he's been doing for the last few years. So shout out to Andrew. In elimination hockey games, Andrew bets the over in game going for the third period. That bet is gold. And guys, all take note of it because it's really in keeping with what Marco said. If it's 4-1, for instance, with 6 minutes to go tonight, Minnesota will pull their goalie with 6 to go. I haven't tracked this bet, but Andrew was telling Carmen and I last night, it just hits all the time. We saw it hit. It wasn't an elimination game last night, but it was a must win for Edmonton. But just take note of that. Anyway, man, Marco D'Angelo, everybody, thrilled to have you, brother. We'll see you next Monday. You've already promoted. I wish you the best of fun tonight at the Vegas game. I'm completely jealous. Enjoy. Get out of here. Stay with us, everybody.
Right, guys,
Bryan Leonard, Teddy's big game breakdown, my penalty box segment, so much more. WagerTalk Today.
With a WagerTalk one-day power pass, you receive every play from every betting consultant for one full day at the ridiculously discounted price of just $149. What's better than spending the day watching and following a great slate of games? Watching, following, and winning those games. Get every WagerTalk expert and every game they release for that day.
It is time for today's big game breakdown, and I just can't help myself. I got to keep talking about this game between the Orioles and the Twins today because it's a fascinating matchup, really is. And it's basically a pick'em game right now. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing minus 105s for both sides at a lot of books. There's really no favorite in this one. It is a true pick'em. And we talk about a pick'em game. We talk about teams. This, to me, is the core of my MLB betting philosophy. All right. I don't want good pitchers on bad teams. And I do want bad pitchers on decent teams when you're getting them at a pick-em price range. Schumacher hasn't been good for the season. His last 2 starts have both been rock solid. So we were seeing signs. 2 of his last 3 have been rock solid. Even the loss to Oakland wasn't a terrible. Last time out, he had more ground ball outs than fly ball outs for the first time in weeks. That's a positive sign for a guy that wants to keep it down. And he held the White Sox, a hot-hitting team, to 5 hits and 2 runs in 6 innings of work. So it's not like he's in terrible form. It's not like he had 1 bad start against the Royals. Other than that, Schumacher's been mostly okay. Not good, but at least okay. Means has been great. No question. He's been the Orioles' best starter. All that said, Baltimore's lost his last 2 trips to the Hill. He's coming off his worst outing of the year. Baltimore's lost 6 in a row. They're 2-13 in their last 15 ball games. The bullpen behind Means is an absolute disaster area. And, the quotes, Brandon Hyde, we're trying to stay positive. Obviously, it's been a tough few weeks. I want to believe that our bullpen's going to kind of pick it up a little bit. Hopefully, we can start pitching a little bit better. It's nothing positive coming out of Baltimore. And the bullpen can't get anyone out. So unless Means throws another complete game no-hitter, this Minnesota team that has wildly underachieved through the first, 2 months of the campaign, that is now showing signs of coming to life, winning 3 of their last 4, winning yesterday in extras, snapping that streak of 8 straight extra inning losses to open the season. Minnesota's headed in the right direction. Baltimore's headed in the wrong direction. And I got to pick them Price. I don't care if the starting pitching matchup favors the Orioles. Give me Minnesota full game. You want Baltimore? Take them first 5. Take Minnesota full game at a pick 'em price. And there's your big game break. Back to you, Mr.
Teddy covers. Marco likes Baltimore. Teddy likes Minnesota. In a few minutes, Brian is going to break this tie. But before we get to that, Teddy, again, everybody, it's $9 Mondays. Teddy, what do you got going tonight?
Single best bets. Won an MLB. I've won, 7th straight in MLB, going for number 8 tonight. A little bit of a baseball run going. So you can get that right now. Again, $9 over at WagerTalk or Sports Memo. And I am involved in the Heat Bucks game 2 this evening. You can get that play as well on $9 Mondays. What about yourself?
Teddy, I got two NHL plays going, one 5% play that you guys have to get, and I have one NBA game going as well. And Brian doesn't know this, Teddy, but I'm going to invite him into the penalty box for a double major today. But listen, you wanted to talk. Well, Bry's here now. Bry, Teddy and I just need to finish this quickly, but welcome to Wager Talk Today, dude. We love having you on Monday's show, one of the big ones. Say hello.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I heard Teddy talking about that baseball game. I can't wait to get into it, but God damn, those Edmonton Oilers are killing me.
Bry, I can't, dude. I can't anyway. Teddy and I just got to respond to Teddy because this snappy amateur crypto follower is smack talking me in the Slack channel. So, Teddy, you asked if I wanted to talk about my Ethereum recommendation from last Monday. Are you asking that because it's down about $600?
I was asking because you said, everyone, I'm buying today. You should buy today. And it crashed after you bought. So I wanted to know what your thought process was about how it went down and what you would recommend to people to do right now, given that the circumstances have changed. I wasn't trying to call you out, but
I thought
it was worthy of a second discussion.
Teddy, I have put in an order. I'm just waiting to hear. I'm buying 6 figures worth of Ethereum today. So I am in full on buy mode. I'm buying Bitcoin. I'm buying Ethereum. I don't even look on a daily basis. I understand the volatility of all of these coins. I mean, Bitcoin, went literally halved in the last 5 weeks. Buy. And anyone who has both Ethereum and Bitcoin, hold. And especially with Bitcoin, you got to hold past 2024. That's when the next halving is coming. So sometime within 2024, it'll be after May. So sometime around June 2024, we're going to see a massive spike. But I think Ethereum is going to 20 grand in the next 3-4 years. And I think Bitcoin is going well over 100 in the next 2 years. So I think the opportunity is right in front of us, Teddy. Mark, what's his name? Elon Musk is not bigger than Bitcoin. So there you go, dude. I'm buying. And I'm telling people every month, if you've got excess capital at the end of the month, buy Ethereum and Bitcoin every month. Anyway, let's talk to Bryan Leonard. Bri? Tampa Bay, Toronto. Tampa Bay, Toronto. Let's get right into it. Early game. What's up?
Early game. Yarborough's going up against Thornton. Has been a pitching change for Toronto overnight. Didn't matter to me. Is the play is more a play on Tampa Bay here. The Rays are hot, and you wouldn't know it, but if you take a look at WRC plus against righties on the season, they're at 114, 14% above Major League Baseball average, second only to the Dodgers. So they're hitting righties very well lately. Yarborough's a guy who always gets weak contact. He's not one of these guys who's going to blow people away, and he has success. Now, he has success before he pitches long into the game. A lot of times they use him as the counter for the starter. The starter goes a couple innings, he comes in at that point. But he's starting this game, and I prefer him much better than Thornton here. If you take a look at their exit velocities, it's 84.4 for Yarborough, 90.2 for Thornton. Hard hit percentage, 27.6 to 51.6. Tampa's a team that's been hot right now, and you're getting them on a 10-game winning streak in like a pick'em game. Yeah, I'll take Tampa Bay here, and it is an afternoon game, and it is up for sale on the site, but you don't need to buy it because you got it here for free.
Now, I want to ask you, because this is a Jays team that has done a remarkable job this year at avoiding sweeps. I don't believe they've been swept in any series all year. Now it's 4 games here against Tampa. They're coming off the blown save last night. The first 3 have been close. Do you worry at all about the home team trying to avoid the sweep type of a deal, or is this just ride the hot, fade the cold? And you got the better pitcher, obviously, or not obviously, but you have a pitcher that you don't want on the cold team that helps put you in that direction.
Yeah, I had Ralph take a look at the numbers. He's our stat man, and there really wasn't a whole lot to it on a team trying to avoid the home sweep. Toronto is getting ready to head back up to Buffalo, as this is a situation where it's getting too hot in Florida, so they're getting ready to head to Buffalo. I think Toronto's more concerned about moving everything they have, and I'm sure they don't have a lot down there, but moving everything and the travel part and the whole bit. So they're more concerned with that right now. They're not more concerned. They want to win the ball games, but that is something that they have to be worried about. Tampa's down there in their home state. I mean, it's a situation where it's a big advantage for Tampa in this series. They didn't have to go to Toronto or Buffalo. They get to stay close to home and play in Dunedin. So it's been somewhat of a series for the Florida fans that they get to see Tampa Bay, and they don't have to go to that terrible ball field where they normally play. So it hasn't been much of a home advantage in this series for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Bryan Leonard, everybody. Bryan, outstanding hockey season. Last we spoke, you had started off baseball slow, but man, I've been following you in baseball for years. You're amazing at it. Where are you at now?
Yeah, we're still down for the season, and I apologize for that from our clients, but we're slowly gaining it back. And now that the weather's starting to warm up, I think that'll help us. There's been an exceedingly amount of bad weather this baseball season, a lot of cold games that are still going on, but it's starting to warm up, and that means we get more of what we expect to happen. And these damn injuries to the hitters are just terrible this year.
Yeah. Hey, before we get into the next game, shout out to Phil Mickelson. We've got 3 old guys on here and one that just left. Love to see that, hey? 50 years old, a month from 51, and he wins his 6th major. Way to go, Phil. Brian, Miami Marlins, minus 125. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. And Philly is the opposite. They've lost 4 of their last 5 games. Where are you going in this one?
I like Miami in this game. I think the line's a little short, if you ask me. Rogers against Eflin. We've talked about Eflin in the past. His numbers on the surface look pretty good. But if you take a look at his advanced stats, he's 1 to 2 miles an hour down from last year on every single pitch. And Rogers, on the other hand, is 1 to 2 miles an hour higher on every pitch this year. Eflin's got a career high solid hit percentage against him this year. That hasn't really shown up yet, but that's something to be concerned about. Philly's on a 2-6 run, and they're 8-14 on the road here. We've got a Miami team that's been winning with pitching all year. I think they'll win with pitching again here. And the hitters are starting to come around a little bit for Miami. I prefer Miami here. Philadelphia is one of those teams that I look to fade coming into the season, and we're finding good spots to do that right now. Let's play Miami. Who's playing the much better ball right now, playing at home.
So we don't ever root for Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson was the one who ratted out Billy Walters. He's a known rat to get out of his own stuff. There's no way we will ever say, go Phil Mickelson. The guy's an asshole. All right. And he's a bad gambler. So, no congratulations.
Okay, I'm serious. Boo Phil
So am I.
Mickelson. Boo Phil. Boo Phil.
We don't give Phil Mickelson any credit for anything he does. The guy's an a-hole. All right.
Okay.
Zach Eflin's the guy I want to talk about here because I, too, was looking at the Miami side today. It's the only way I could look, and I got a little bit scared off being the Marlins don't hit and Eflin's in great form. Does that worry does that worry you at all in this matchup?
As I said, Eflin's numbers, you look at his pure numbers, they're about to regress. If you take a look at his advanced stats, he's not the same pitcher. It's been coming. I've been going against him pretty much all season long. I think I've only lost once going against him. And who's a better pitcher right now than Rodgers for Miami? The guy has just been tremendous all season long. Miami's got the better bullpen. To me, Miami's the clear side here. We'll see what happens. But it's a game to me that I much prefer Miami playing at home.
Bryan Leonard, Bri, we're going to do this one real quick. Both Teddy and Marco has given their thoughts. Marco likes Baltimore. Teddy likes St. Louis. We don't need to break this game down. Just who do you like really quick? I mean, I
know he doesn't like St. Louis because they're not playing Baltimore, but I watched the Minnesota series against Cleveland, and Minnesota came out and they won 2 out of those 3. They're still terrible. They're still making terrible base running mistakes. They got lucky with, Sano was hot last week, so he was able to get them, 4 or 5 home runs. But John Means is so much better in this matchup of the pitchers. I love John Means, and his numbers are legit, although I do respect a little bit of a regression. But I want nothing to do with the Minnesota team off back-to-back extra inning games in which they got lucky to win yesterday. Just they're still not playing well.
Bryan Leonard, Bri, stay with me. You're coming into the penalty box. We're doing hockey. You didn't know. Too bad. Let's go, boys. It's the penalty box segment. What the hell song was that? Anyway, it had a little bit of Hank Williams, The Race Is On, and Here Comes Pride in the backstretch. Anyway, Bri, let's do this together. Toronto, Montreal, who do you like?
Don't sing anymore. I prefer Toronto in this game, but priced out of it up in 140. Now we're seeing anywhere from 160 to 170. Lean Toronto at this number.
I like the over, guys. 5.5 is the total. I think we're going to get that game over. Toronto's power play has come to life. Take the over. Pittsburgh, New York Islanders, Bri.
Nothing on this game. This is one of the few that I think the number's exactly right. So I have nothing on this one. I think Pittsburgh wins, but it's been a hell of a series, and both of these teams match up very well. It could go either way, but I'm off of this one.
I think the play, guys, is Pittsburgh and throw a little bit on overtime at plus 320. Florida, Tampa Bay, Brian. I don't know how you can't just keep pounding the over in this game. Clearly the right play by Zigzag, must win, equal this, that, and the other is Florida. I don't know if I can get there, but I do like the over a lot.
My numbers say Florida. Didn't get the number I exactly wanted, so I may be passing. I haven't decided yet on my hockey for tonight, but I'm leaning with Florida, and you can't go wrong with the over between these two at this point.
Yeah. Winnipeg, Edmonton. I mean, look, dude, I called Edmonton 3 games in a row. They lost all 3, and I'm calling them again tonight. I actually think that if Edmonton wins tonight, going back to Edmonton, We are likely going to come back to Winnipeg at 3-2, and it'll be anybody's series. This series is not over. Edmonton minus 120, but it really is going to come down to their emotional makeup after that disaster.
Definitely. And I lost Edmonton. I'm soon to lose Edmonton in the series. I lost Edmonton in each of the first 3 games. Other than Edmonton, I'm having a hell of a playoffs. I can't trust them anymore. I can't trust them anymore. That loss yesterday, how do you come back from that? They've been the better team by my numbers in all 3 of these games, and they lost all 3 of them. I think their season's over, to be honest with you.
We're out of time. Vegas in regulation, guys. Brian, thank you for joining us. Teddy, take us home.
That's going to wrap it. Absolutely. That's going to wrap it for the Monday edition of Wager Talk Today. Thanks to my co-host, Lawrence Presman. Thanks to Joe Ranieri behind the scenes. Thanks to Marco D'Angelo and Bryan Leonard for joining us as our featured guest. And thanks to you out there in viewerland taking time out of your day to hang out with us here on Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon on the east coast. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.